All right, so in today's video, we're going to go over some really simple steps you can take to have a better tattoo experience. I'm about to head out to the studio, but there's a few things I have to do first, during, and after to make my tattoo experience better. So if you do these things or do very similar things, I think you'll have a better experience. All right, let's jump straight into the first one, which is numbing cream. Now, I don't always use numbing cream. I sometimes use numbing cream. Whatever you choose to do, just make sure you check with your artist. They need to know about it. It could affect the tattoo. Some don't like to tattoo with it at all. And just some spots I get tattooed, I just choose to have it. I've been getting tattooed 20 years now. It's just, I'm getting older, whatever it is. I just use it on some spots. It actually makes the outcome of the tattoo better, because if you don't really sit well in a spot and you want to get a better result, maybe you want to numb it up to make sure you can work better on that spot, or the artist can work better on that spot. What do I use? I use Numb Up. Been using it for a while now. This is really fantastic as a before your tattoo numbing cream, but I also sometimes occasionally use their numbing gel. I'll pop a link down for this one. This is more for during the tattoo once the skin is broken, but it can really help if you are in a super sensitive spot, something like the armpit, and it's just really, really unbearable. It's a good way to be able to get through your session and also, again, allow the tattoo artist to do what they need to do in those really tender spots. Now, something to mention about numbing cream is you have to do it right to get the best result. What I like to do, about an hour and a half before the tattoo, I'll get a really thick layer of numbing cream on, so thick that you can see it on the outside. We're not rubbing it into the skin. We want it to stay on the outside of the skin. You want to see a really thick white layer over the area you're going to get tattooed. And my hot tip, make sure you go maybe an inch or two outside of that spot, because the way the nerve endings are connected, you want to have that area really nice and numbed. We're then going to wrap it with cling wrap, and we're going to leave it on until we get there and let the artist take it off. Now, you can even do this up to 2 hours before. I find an hour and a half is really, really good, because you've usually got a little bit of time in that session when you do start that you're talking about what you're going to do for the day, and it gives you that little bit more lead in time and really make sure you get the best numbing experience. All right, we're all wrapped up. You can see got my cling wrap on, ready to go. I want to keep this as warm as possible, so I'm going to make sure I wear a pretty thick shirt on the way out to the studio, just because I want heat going through this. Heat is going to activate the numbing cream, and the cling wrap is going to help keep that heat in, and that numbing cream is going to absorb into the skin and give you a really nice numb. That takes me to step number 2, making sure we have everything we need for a successful tattoo session. What do I mean by that? All right, first off, we want to make sure we've had a really substantial breakfast. Now, substantial, I don't necessarily mean size. I mean something that is going to satiate us, something that our body is going to be able to feed off during the tattoo. You know what it's like when you're hungry and your body just doesn't like it. It wants to be fed. Imagine having that on top of shoving thousands of needles into your skin repetitively over a couple of hour period. It's not going to end well. It never does. Don't be the person who doesn't eat before your session. Trust me, it won't go well. But yeah, make sure we have some food in our stomach. The next one, caffeine. Now, everyone's going to be different on this. Some people can have caffeine and have no problems. I personally can't have caffeine and get tattooed. I mean, I can, but I find the results are not great. You know, I'm already sort of hyped up. I've got lots of energy, and then I've got to sit down and be still for a really long point of time. Up to you, that one. That's just something I do. But again, if you are going to limit caffeine, it could help with the overall process, because your body's not going to be as jittery, or your nerves potentially aren't going to be on edge as much. Next up, you haven't already, make sure you've got what you need for the tattoo. Maybe you've got this beforehand, or maybe you're going to give yourself time to get it on the way. That's things like snacks, cash. We definitely need our cash, or maybe your artist takes card. That's great, but we've got our payment method sorted out. Nothing worse than the artist needing to get out the cheese grater at the end of the session. But yeah, making sure we've got all of that. Any extra water we need to pick up, we want to give ourselves time to get it on the way there, or we've already got it before we've left the house. That takes me to my next tip for a successful tattoo, which is working with your artist to find a really comfortable spot. And this is going to benefit you, your tattoo, and the artist as well. Artists will be more than willing to work with you to make sure you're comfortable, because if you're comfortable, you're going to sit better. Don't be the client who sits there in pain the whole session and then leaves and just has all these other parts of your body which are sore because you've struggled to sit, and then you also got to deal with the pain of healing a tattoo. Just let them know you'll both be able to find a relative spot, and it'll be so much more enjoyable. Tip number 4 might be a bit of a controversial one. Don't take too many breaks. Obviously, if the artist needs a break, that's different. But if you want to keep taking breaks every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you think it's helping you get through the tattoo, but it's actually hurting you in the long run, You really want to make sure you can get into a rhythm, get into a pattern with that tattoo, really stick it out every half an hour, maybe every hour. If you want to take a break, that's fine. And obviously do what's right for you. But trust me, try and not take breaks every 5 or 10 minutes. I know you think it's helping, but it's actually hurting the process. Every time you get wiped down, it's going to feel really raw, and too much wiping down is not good for anyone. It could also impact the stencil that the artist is working on. So yeah, make sure you really try and sit really well. Talk to your tattoo artist. If you do need a break, obviously go to the toilet, have a drink, whatever that is, but try and let the artist dictate when you take breaks. I promise you it will help you in the long run. You'll sit better, you'll get a better tattoo, and it will actually improve the experience of getting your tattoo. Tip number 5, if you are going to be laying on your back or looking up a lot, make sure you bring a pair of sunglasses. You'll be surprised how much is going to impact your time in the tattoo chair or maybe on the tattoo table. If you're looking up at those fluorescent lights the whole time, it could be a real strain on your eyes, and it's just going to really bother you. You're going to be putting your hand across your eyes the whole time. Bring some sunglasses. Trust me, it's not weird. A lot of people do it, and it's just really going to help you in the long run, especially if you are, again, looking up at those lights. Protect your eyes, and it's going to help you in the long run. Tip number 6, listen to your artist about the aftercare. Now, unless you've been getting tattooed an extremely long time and you've tried many methods, always make sure you listen to your tattoo artist. They work in the industry and they do know what's best for you. Ultimately, listen to your body as well. If you are going to use something like Dermalize, Sanoderm, Second Skin, and you're told to leave it on for 3 or 4 or 5 days, make sure you still listen to your body. Sometimes your body will tell you that it needs to come off. It might get a little bit red or irritated. That's okay. It's time to get it off. But ultimately, listen to your artist. They do know what's best. And then also listen to your body when it comes to tattoo aftercare. And tip number 7, making sure we really give our body the chance to heal this tattoo properly. Now, we've talked about before the tattoo, on the way to the tattoo, during the tattoo, but really importantly, the only way we're going to have a great tattoo is if we let it heal properly. Now, what do I mean by that? We need to let our body do what it needs to do, and there's certain things which could really take away from that. So realistically, from tattoo session to a pretty much fully healed tattoo, you're usually looking around the 2-week mark. This can vary on different body parts. The top of my head was healed in a week. Other areas like my armpit took a little bit longer, but everyone's also going to be different depending on who you are, your skin type, and so many other factors as well. But the things I want you to watch out for are pretty universal. So the first one I want you to keep an eye out for is sun exposure. We really don't want to be getting an excess amount of sun on our fresh tattoo. If you know you're going to be out in the sun, simply just rock a shirt, pop it on. If it's on your forearm, long sleeve shirt, whatever it is, make sure we just cover that up. And no, by all this, I don't mean put sunscreen on a fresh tattoo and you'll be good to go. We really don't want to be doing that. Trust me, just cover up, wear an extra layer, and you'll be good to go. Apart from sun exposure, we really got to look out for excess sweat as well. You've got to be careful with a fresh tattoo. The skin has gone through a lot of trauma and it is trying to heal. So if we have a lot of sweat on that area, it will affect your tattoo and the way it heals. Also, things like excess weight training can be quite a strain on the body and also on the tattoo itself. I know it's going to be hard, especially if you do train a lot, but if you are doing these things in excess while you have a fresh tattoo, you may not get the best result when it eventually heals. And the last one that's kind of forgotten about a little bit is swimming. No matter where it is, in a chlorine pool or at the beach, we just want to avoid that. Showers are fine, that's fresh water. We don't want to go too hot with the shower. Anything else, exposure to water, let's limit that. It's really not going to be good. As I mentioned, at the beach, salt water, that's abrasive, no good. Chlorine, again, very abrasive substance, so we don't want to come in contact with that. Plus, it's not good for others as well. We have a fresh wound. A tattoo is a fresh wound when it's healing. So yeah, we don't want to do those things. But don't be too worried. Follow your artist's aftercare regime and then follow these tips I've given you today. And you should really enjoy the tattoo process from before to during to after and just end up with a really nice tattoo in the end. All right, get out there, give some of these tips a go. Let me know in the comments below if you already do some of these or if you're wanting to try some of them. And as always, make sure you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell down below to make sure you get all my videos as soon as they drop in the future. All right, get out there, enjoy getting tattooed, and until the next video, I'll catch you then.